this week, I wanted to share with you, just start off with a very simple way for you to tell your God story to people that you interact with on a daily basis. You never know who the Holy Spirit's going to bring into your life and how he can use that conversation for his glory and in that person's life. A couple of months ago, I was invited to speak at our church at a luncheon. It's called the Joy Luncheon. So Joy stands for Just Older Youth. So it's for the over 55 crowd at our church. Anyway, I decided to challenge them to keep telling their God story. I asked them, how many of you are retired? And almost everybody raised their hand. And I challenged them to consider that though they might have completed their vocational pursuit, that really they're not retired as ambassadors for Christ. Their commission remains, to make disciples wherever they are and until they take their last breath. I mean, I'm praying that will be my story. And so I knew that the people that I was speaking to held a room full of people who had a lifetime of God story experiences, and I didn't want them to ever stop sharing them. So here's the outline. Here's my little tip here. The outline that I gave them to help simplify and organize their unique experiences. So hopefully you can remember that. 3 points. 1, I was, but God, and now. I was, but God, and now. That's the outline. So I walked them through Paul's story as he talks about, laid out in Acts 22, 1 through 22, where he says, I was an educated, zealous follower of Judaism and a persecutor of Christians, but God miraculously saved me on the road to Damascus. And now, Paul testifies, I was chosen to be a witness for Christ among the Gentiles. And then I shared with them my story. And so I'm just going to do that right now. I was an insecure college junior searching for my identity and my purpose. And though I had known about Jesus since I was a child and called myself a Christian, I wasn't following him or his teachings in the way that I lived my life or in any of the activities that I pursued. I was definitely looking for, I would say, affirmation and some security, but I was looking in all the wrong places, like with my grades or the boy that I was dating or my friends or all the things that we were doing to help forget how empty all those priorities were. But God, so that was my I was, but God miraculously intervened and made a way for me to attend a conference in Dallas, Texas called Explo 72. And it was a 5-day conference that was sponsored by what's now called Cru. It was Campus Crusade for Christ at the time. And it was held at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And actually it was when I came, it was my first time ever to Dallas, but at the time I lived and attended college in Indiana. That's where I was from. So I say it was a miracle. There was two aspects to the miracle. The first one was I wasn't even supposed to be enrolled in college in the spring of 1972. And that's where this interaction took place that I'm going to mention in a minute. But I had decided, not too wisely, to drop out of school in the middle of the semester of my junior year and move to Colorado with this friend of mine. So we were looking for something, but we didn't know that it wouldn't be found in the Rocky Mountains. So anyway, I moved out of my dorm, moved home, and I called my friend to make final arrangements for this move that we were going to make to Colorado. And she told me, she said, Cyndi, I don't know how to tell you this, but I have this opportunity to move or to visit Europe this spring. And so I don't want to pass that up, and I don't think I can move with you to Colorado. So I sure wasn't going to move out there by myself. So I ended up re-enrolling in college and I moved back to campus. So a month later, and God knew all this, he worked it all out. But anyway, a woman named Jane who worked with Campus Crusade Crew stopped me in my dorm hall as I was walking down past one day. And she recognized me because I'd attended just a couple of the meetings before because my sister had urged me to go to those meetings. And she asked me if I had considered going to Explo. And so when I told her no, she suggested that I take a brochure home and ask my parents just in case I change my mind. So I happened to be going home that weekend. And I took the brochure with me and I mentioned it to my mom. And she said, well, how are you going to pay for it? And so I very piously answered that if God wanted me to go, he would provide the money. I mean, I didn't believe it, but that's what I said. But little did I know that God did have a plan for me despite my own lack of faith. And so this is the other part of the miracle. The next day in the mail, I received an unexpected refund check from my university that covered all the expenses that the brochure said was needed for college students. I mean, it was to the dollar, really, the check amount and what the brochure said was needed for college students. So it kind of blew my mind, and I decided to attend, even though I was still, believe it or not, I was still hesitant. But it was there during that week of June 12th in 1972 that I committed to love and serve Jesus for the rest of my life, along with 80 to 100,000 other students who were there. This is a fun fact. Jerry Jenkins, who's the father of Dallas Jenkins, who is the producer of The Chosen, was there back in 1972. And he made the same commitment. And so, in fact, he named his son Dallas after the city of Dallas because of the commitment that he made to Jesus at that time. So anyway, now, here's my and now part. 50 years later, I still love and serve Jesus and seek to make disciples and who also love and serve him through the same organization that helped me find my identity and purpose in him. So Jesus changed the trajectory of my life for the better in more ways than I can count. So now my hope is that these few moments that you will remember this simple outline. I was, but God, and now. And there's all kinds of ways that you can use that in conversation with people. And my prayer is that when people come across your path, maybe even this week, that you won't see them as an interruption to where you're headed, but really maybe as a divine appointment. So that's what I have to share tonight. Thank you.